Hello and welcome. I'm Darren. And if we rewind, I don't know, a week ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago, I did a video, and the video was a kind of a console to PC type thing. And it was kind of almost a console to PC or a first gaming PC, basically my thoughts on what would be a good kind of PC to build, getting yourself into the hobby. And admittedly, at the time, like I said, it was probably going to be a bit controversial because it certainly wasn't budget. Now, it definitely wasn't anything along the lines of over the top of the line, but it definitely wasn't budget, because I think there's just, I don't know, in my thoughts, if you go too low and you spec too low, you're only going to cost yourself more money. And I think a lot of people will end up spending that money in a very short space of time. And you'll kind of wish you didn't do it that way, or you're going to get the opposite result. And you're going to get maybe kind of a negative thought towards PC. So I did a video where I kind of had a little look over, I think it was just one of the websites at the time, threw some stuff in a basket and kind of said, I think it was around about 1,500 quid for the build, and kind of said, this is what I would probably build myself, or what I would probably suggest something within this region as a good build for someone new getting into the hobby, or definitely someone moving over from console that is going to certainly want a better experience than what they're getting on a console. Now, I went through it in that video. I know spending £1,500 on something to beat a console sounds a bit crazy. There's more to it than that. Obviously, if you watch that video, I kind of explained a lot of that in that video. Now, I kind of thought to myself, well, I've been kind of thinking to myself, what content do I want to make? Where do I want to go with my content? And as always, it's kind of that payday time of the month where I'm so tempted to just spend money left, right, and centre. I'm not a rich person by any means, but the money that I do have, I tend to, kind of think throughout the month leading up to payday, where am I going to spend this money? And ideally, what I was kind of aiming to do was spend some money on some sim racing gear. But at the same time, there's a lot of change going on, certainly even within the brand that I'm looking at buying stuff. And the last thing that I want to go out at the moment and do is buy some version 1 stuff and find that there's some new updated stuff, which is very much on the horizon. So I'm going to hold out on that. And it did make me think, because I did mention it in that video, that I actually really wanted to build that system. And it's kind of made me think, I'm going to build that system. So now, it's not going to be that exact system. I've been kind of thinking about it, but I want some feedback from you guys in the chat. Let me know. I'm going to probably discuss it here, and then I'll move over to the desktop, and we'll have a quick look around at my thoughts of what I'm kind of thinking of doing, because I have obviously 2 desktop PCs. Well, I've got 3 desktop PCs. So I've got a big desktop, fully water-cooled system, which I'm not currently using at the moment. And now I was going to sell it. I'm probably going to keep it. I'm probably going to use it as an editing PC. Obviously, I have this system next to me, which is the 7900 XTX with the 7800 X3D. And in the bedroom at the moment, bolted to the sim rig, is the 4080 with the 13700K. So now those are all like mid-tower systems, and they're obviously all upper to high-end systems. So 4080 and a 7900 XTX, and it kind of makes me think, I'd like to throw something in the mix where I am doing some content on something a bit lower tier. I think it's probably fair, making content all the time for the kind of top PCs it's great for certain people. For some people, it's probably not a lot of information. So I kind of decided that that's what I wanted to do. And I had a look around today to see what bargains there were, and it kind of made me think that I'm not going to just buy all the parts, this month and just build it. It's kind of made me think that I am going to do my best to wait and search for the parts and buy the parts all on sale. So technically I want to buy everything at some sort of discount, and I still want to kind of keep it below the 1500 if possible. Certainly not, I might be a few pound over or whatever, but I want to keep it as low as possible. And then I want to obviously go through the stuff as the stuff arrives. As I order the stuff turns up, I'll do some unboxing, go through the stuff, we'll do a video putting it together, and then we will run it up. I'll do some videos of obviously how to set it up, how to get up and running, purchasing a Windows key, all that sort of stuff that will save you a lot of money. And I want to build this with proper decent gear. So that's what I'm saying. I want to obviously buy stuff when it's discounted, because now I'm not going to slag off pre-builts. There is absolutely nothing wrong with pre-builts, but what pre-builts generally do is they save money in certain areas. And you're going to see a lot of the pre-builts, certainly around kind of the £1,000 to £1,500 mark, they're going to be like skimping on, like the motherboard will probably not be particularly high quality. Your power supply won't be high quality. It'll probably have a relatively cheap unbranded cooler or low brand cooler, those type of things. So that's generally what I want to high spec stuff, but I want to high spec it still within budget. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna grab stuff up when it's on a deal. So we'll get a decent case on a deal. We'll get a nice brand of GPU rather than one of the lowest, cheapest brands or cheapest model, just to save us a few quid. We'll wait till the nice model, like the Sapphire Nitro is here. We'll wait till we've got a Sapphire Nitro. If we decide that we're going to go with something like a 7800 XT, then we'll wait till we've got a Sapphire Nitro in a deal, and we'll grab that then, rather than buying one of the lower tier models just to kind of try and save some money at the time. Now I'm not decided if it will be that. I'm kind of thinking it'll probably be a 7800 XT or at least a 4070 Super. Or obviously I did a video the other day. Now there is a rumor that the 8800 XT could be imminent. Now who knows? It might not be. So I will hold off on buying the GPU till last. Now if there's no sign on the horizon, then we'll just buy whatever we can. At the same time, I'm still not sure what the 8800 XT will be when it launches. So if it does launch and it is kind of £500 to £600, we'll just buy that. We'll go with it. It might take us a little bit over budget, but it's new, and it's going to be a decent price. We're not going to wait for the 50 series NVIDIA cards. And the other thing is with the 8800 XT, if that does launch and it is over the kind of budget that we want to spend, it will probably force stuff like the 7800 XT or the 7900 XT, and obviously the NVIDIA cards. It will force all of those down in price. So that might be a good opportunity to actually save some more money. So that's kind of what I'm thinking at the minute. We'll have a quick look around across some of the web pages at the moment, see what bargains there are. I'm not going to purchase anything now, but kind of get an idea of where I want to go. And then, like I said, we'll do some unboxing of the gear when it turns up. If this is of interest, let me know in the comments. It's kind of, I'm kind of stuck more on what to do. I mean, realistically, benchmarking, I'm always behind everyone. In the UK and Europe, games will always launch in the US, and they'll launch in the US. So to the point of, obviously, you'll get a daytime US, and we won't get till the next day. I wake up the next day and then I have to go to work. So it's, I'm nearly 24 hours behind. So making content, but if I see 30 videos of a game already on YouTube, I'm kind of thinking it's kind of a pointless exercise for me. And at the same time, some of those games I probably don't even want to buy. So it's almost doing me a favor of having that kind of problem where I'm not buying games that I've got no interest in, just because I'm thinking, I don't know, I want to kind of get some views, so I want to make some content of a game. It's a pointless exercise for me. But I build PCs, or I build my own PCs, so I'm pretty confident when it comes to building a PC. Obviously, I set them all up myself. I troubleshoot them, so I'm not, obviously, I've said it before, I'm no expert, but at the same time, I kind of know what I'm doing, or how to find what I need, and I'm confident in doing anything that I'm doing. So I'm kind of thinking this will probably be a nice thing to do, and obviously at the same time, if anyone is, obviously is interested in watching this type of content and decides that the stuff that I've bought is, I've created a nice build, and someone wants to say, you know what, I want to buy the exactly same stuff, and obviously follow the same build that I've done, put it together themselves. Because the one thing is, and again, this is obviously subjective, people will say it's not a good idea, people will say it's a good idea, but don't be afraid of building yourself, because once you buy your PC, there's no one there to hold your hand anymore, and you're either then stuck with, every time you can't figure something out, either getting someone round to figure it out for you, taking your PC down, putting it in the car and taking it to a store and asking someone to fix it for you. You just need to figure that stuff out yourself. And unfortunately, the best option there is figuring it out for yourself. So if you figure it out from the start, you're sorted. Because there is stuff that you're going to have to do. Some of the stuff that you don't have to do, some people go a little bit overboard. Every time someone's got a slight issue, they're telling them to do a BIOS update and all this. Like, that's bullshit. It's when there is a known issue, you might get a fix for a BIOS update when it's a serious known issue. But people saying, suddenly I've got some stutters in a game, and someone's like, oh yeah, you need to update your BIOS. No. But at the same time, don't be afraid. So we'll go through all that. We'll go through, obviously install, Windows install, getting the PC up and running, getting drives sorted if Windows isn't picking up your drives. Sometimes it does do that. Memory sorting, all that sort of stuff. And then obviously, all your drivers, your motherboard drivers, all that sort of stuff. We'll just go through all of that in a few videos, and then get it up and running, and then I can just use it for testing at that point on. And obviously if someone has watched the video, they've decided that they want to copy the build, if they have any issues going forward, I'll have the exact same build here, so we can go through it together, all that sort of stuff. Obviously I'm not a huge channel, so if you're copying something off Jay's 2 cents or something like that, and you have an issue and you write in a comment, can you help me, the chances are you're not going to get, and it's, I'm not saying it's anything against him or anything like that, but he's going to have God knows how many hundreds of thousands of viewers that are all saying the same thing. You're just never going to get an answer. I'm probably not so much in that situation, so it's easier for me to answer, obviously, any comments that I get. So I think that's probably what kind of on my mind. I think it's probably something that would be quite cool to do. I can do it kind of within a budget over a certain time, and I think I can probably get some quite cool content out of it. So I think that's definitely what I'm going to do going forward. We're going to head to the desktop. We're going to check out what is available at the moment, just to get a rough idea, because I'm kind of thinking And I'm kind of thinking with the whole kind of console to PC thing. Now, when I did my kind of basket that I put together, I did put in a mid tower case or a full tower case, I think it was. Now I'm kind of thinking, and this will cost more money, and it's why I'm going to have to wait for deals. But I'm kind of thinking to do a ITX build, so a small form factor build, which I think might suit. It will suit me better because I don't want another full tower to have to lug around. And it'll be a lot easier if I've got a smaller PC that I can just move around to the desk or to the other room or wherever I need to do it at the time. So I'm kind of thinking that will suit me better. But I'm also thinking it might suit console players better, especially if it's something that you're going to have in your living room that you're going to be replacing your console with. You're going to want to hook it up to your TV. Now, hooking up to your TV, I said obviously you probably got a 4K TV, you're going to be pushing it. But we will go through that. I will go through what we can run at 4K, how we can tweak stuff to get it running at 4K. I have 1440p monitor, I have 1440p ultra wide monitor. So I have the resolutions available and we will go through them. Generally, we're looking at probably what would be a 1440p system. However, I will probably most of the time be trying my best to get games running at a decent frame rate on the 4K monitor, because that is possibly going to be where console gamers are going to want to be. They're probably not going to want to run out instantly and buy a monitor. They're probably going to want to try and see if they can run it on a TV. So that's what we'll do. And that's probably another reason why I was thinking maybe a 7800 XT would be good for that. If we find a banging deal on something like a 7900 XT, then we might even do that, because that's going to be even better in this case. If we can do that and keep that under 1500 quid, that's what we'll do. If we find a really good deal on something like a 4070 Ti Super, we'll try that as well, because there are deals to be had. So if we can do that for 1500 or below, that's what we'll do, because that will give us even a better chance at running, all the games that you want to run. You're not going to run everything on a 4K TV. You can, but you're going to be dropping a lot of settings. You're going to be using a lot of upscaling to get you there. But we'll go for it. So I'm going to hop off now. We're going to head to the desktop. We're just going to have a quick look around on, obviously I'm in the UK. We'll have a quick look at what deals are around on Amazon. We'll have a quick look at the cases that might be an option that I'm thinking of, or maybe other options, and let me know in the chat what you think. And we'll do that. Okay, so Amazon, which is my absolute best place for purchasing in the UK. I know it's probably not the same around the rest of the world, but I always get my best deals from Amazon, and I get the quickest response and the quickest replacements from anywhere. I don't get all the hassle of we're going to have to send it back to the manufacturer for some sort of guarantee or anything like that. Luckily for me, if I have any type of issue with a product from Amazon, effectively I can get in contact with them. They will send me a replacement the same day. And then within 30 days, I just need to pack up and send back a prepaid package for, the faulty part. So I generally buy through Amazon. I also get, luckily for me, I get VAT knocked off and I get free shipping. So that's the only problem with a lot of the other places. I'm not actually in the UK. And some of the other places only use courier. So it does tend to be a case of, if I want to order something quite small, it's a nightmare. I'll end up paying more just to get it couriered than maybe what the price of the part that I want to order is. So generally, like what I have here, Overclockers is a big place. If I need to buy from Overclockers, I generally need to make sure that I'm kind of getting a decent size order to make it worthwhile. So now this is kind of what my thoughts were. So I did actually build a normal NR200, so not the Max, just the straight NR200 with an air cooler in, that my daughter ran for a couple of years, and it's a really good case. It's small, it's lightweight. Now they do the NR200P Max, which the price seems crazy, but you are getting a 850 watt power supply, and you're also getting a AIO 280 millimeter AIO cooler. So when you put that all together, it's really cheap, and this is really tempting. The only issue that I do have is there's now a V2, and the V2 has had quite a few improvements. It does have a nicer mesh side to it. It also has a tempered glass side to it. It does have room now for bigger GPUs, so you can now fit up to a 360 mil, which the other one was limited to about 330, I think, or 335, maybe 340. So you can fit pretty much some of the biggest GPUs in this. There's also a few better ports on it. It's just been, the few little bits and pieces that could have been done on it have been done on it. So even though there is a little bit of a discount, I'm sticking within my discount, but I might sit and wait or see if I can shop around and find something with a better discount than that. But I won't have to pay that price. I'll get VAT knocked off. But even then, again, £300 sounds expensive when you kind of knock it down, because for an SFX power supply, SFX power supplies are pretty expensive. If I was to buy the power supply on its own that comes with this, it'll be 125 quid. If I was to buy the 280 AIO cooler, it's probably going to be around £100, and then you're paying around about £100 for the case. So it's not the cheapest, but the other handy thing is, I can show you with the old one, to actually build it, this is how it comes. So your wirings, most of your wiring's done for you. Effectively, your CPU wires are hanging there. Your GPU wires will be kind of just cable tied there, waiting for you to go. And the cooler will just be cable tied there. So obviously you'll basically drop your motherboard in. You'll throw your CPU in, you'll throw your RAM on, you'll throw your M.2 SSDs in, you'll drop the motherboard in, and then all you have to do is pop the cooler head on, fire your plugs in, throw your GPU in. It's kind of all rerouted, all the cable work is done for you. And obviously it'll be the same in the V2. So to actually build in for a first timer, although a small form factor case isn't the easiest thing to build in, with all of the donkey work being done for you, it's actually not that bad. Now, the other thing I was kind of thinking is, because, like I said, these are quite small. It's a decent case. I have used it before. There is options to do, obviously, a little bit with the case where you can fit in, like you can bang some fans in. I think depending on the height of the GPU, you can probably fit some fans below. You can change the fans for some RGB fans. So, there is some certain stuff you can do. And obviously, like I said, it'll come with a mesh side or it'll come with a tempered glass. So you'll get both options that come with the package. Now, the other thing I was almost considering was one of... Come on. Why is that giving me a stupid picture? Was one of these, which is the Encore. Now, this is kind of, as you can see, it is quite tall. It is kind of what would be a pretty cool looking console type thing. Obviously, it's got a small footprint, but it is obviously quite tall, so it does take up, obviously, as you can see, a bit of desk, but it's in a vertical sense rather than a footprint. So these are quite cool. Now, the only worry that I have with this is, well, there's only probably two things again. Well, it's the same thing. So it comes with a power supply and it comes with a cooler, but the cooler is a 140. So I don't know. I've seen a few reviews. It might kind of be all right. I don't know. I mean, the only other thing is there is no glass side panel. So if you wanted to build something with your RGB lighting and with a nice looking GPU and you want tempered glass because you want to see that, this case doesn't give you that option. But like I said, it's a kind of, is there some better? Yeah, I suppose that's better pictures. It's pretty cool looking. Obviously it's aluminium. There's obviously a bronze or a greyish colour, and yeah, it's an option. I'm probably looking, my mind's thinking more towards the other one. There is obviously things like this, which you can get in white or black. These are very limited to what sort of CPU you're going to put in, because you're talking a very small cooler. It's going to be an air cooler, and you're limited as well on GPU. You can build quite a decent PC out of it, and obviously this is a very small footprint, as you can see, kind of sat alongside, if you had that sat somewhere in your lounge next to a TV, it's a very small footprint. You can build something relatively decent in it, but you're pushing limits with it. So I don't know. The NR200, this is what I don't know. I think I did a white one for my daughter. So yeah, she had a PC for a while in one of these, which is kind of the version that you'd have an air cooler with. And then that's the newer version, which is, the newer version is AIO only, so you can't fit an air cooler in that. You can only do a vertical mount GPU. So those are kind of what I was looking at. I did kind of, the only other problem that I have with this is, like I said, ITX. So the ITX motherboards are quite expensive. So I'm definitely going to have to shop around for deals. Now, the other thing that I did notice is there's some pretty good deals on GPUs right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe some stuff that we thought might not get launched till next year coming a little bit sooner, because I just had a quick look, and the 7800 XT that we were looking at, where am I going here, is a bargain. So what we had in our basket last time was the Sapphire Nitro, which is on sale at the moment and available to me for $416. Now, like I said, if I was to buy that now, because it's coming from here, I am going to have to pay probably about £30 shipping, which is a bit of a pain in the ass because, like I said, Amazon's free. But even then, that's still a pretty good deal. And look, I even get a couple of free games. So that's definitely an option. And I'm not going to find anything that I'm really going to beat that on price. Although I did see it's a lot more expensive than that, because that is incredibly cheap. I think they had I don't know why. They're doing really good prices on the Sapphires at the moment. So again, a 7900 XT for under, well, $599 then, so 600, which is incredibly good. So like I said, if I could actually fit that into the budget, that would obviously go even more towards pushing that 4K goodness. I don't know if they sell GREs on here. They must sell GREs on here. Yeah, they're. But they only do the ASRock ones, and I'm kind of a little bit meh about those. Because that just looks shit, if I'm being honest. No offence to anyone that owns that model, but I'm not overly excited by that, I'm not going to lie. Admittedly, I haven't looked what they have on Amazon. I don't even know what models you can get in the GRE. I don't think there's a great deal, is there? On Amazon, there's pretty it's ASRock. Or this Fighter, Power Color Fighter. I think we're going to ignore that as well. As I said, no offense to anyone that's owning those. I have certain brands that I kind of tend to stick to. Now that was kind of the only option I have for the motherboard, but it's not available at Amazon at the moment, and that's more expensive. It's normally around about $180 when it's in stock at Amazon, so I'd have to wait on it because I wouldn't want to buy it from the place that's selling it at the moment. So yeah, basically that's kind of what I'm thinking, and I'm kind of thinking at the moment, I'm still thinking a 7800X3D. I don't think, I kind of looked before, and if you drop down to something like a 7700X or something like that, you're only saving like 20 quid. It just doesn't seem viable to me. You might as well just do the 7800X3D, spend the extra 20, 30, even if it is an extra 50 quid, it's worth spending that extra 50 quid. The last thing you want to do is in 6 months' time go out and then spend what would have been the extra 50 quid that turns into 350 quid, and then having to try and sell your CPU to get some money back. So that's actually a pretty decent price, because that will have that knocked off. I'm not sure if that will fit in that case though, because XFX are long, aren't they? It should do. Is that in stock with Amazon? Why has it got PlayStation 5 written next to it? I have no idea. No, it's Amazon US. Okay. So there's no point me dragging this video out any longer whilst we search around on Amazon, but that's kind of my thoughts. Let me know in the chat if you think it's a good idea, if I'm better off doing a full case, if people would be more interested in a certain tower, if the small form factor is a good idea, and do we go, like I said, 7800X3D is a definite. I'm not going to budge on that because it doesn't seem worth it. And Intel I'm not going to buy right now. So that's definitely the CPU. Just be a case of GPU. I'm kind of thinking for the price, that 7800 XT is going to be very hard to beat. But if I can save enough money in deals that we can then go with the 7900 XT, or a 4070 Ti Super if we can find one of those at a bargain, and still keep it below 1,500 quid, then maybe that's what we'll do. Let me know, and I will leave it there. So I'll catch you in the next one.